So my fuel line and tank installation is pretty straightforward. Probably the biggest thing that I'm doing different from the kit is I'm only going to run one fuel tank. So a lot of guys have issues with the crossover hose leaking, and Shane's got a nice product to address the leakage on the driver's side, but you still have to deal with leaking on the passenger side. So based on how I'm going to use this car, or how I think I'm going to use the car, and having 9 gallons of gas is probably plenty of range for what I'm going to be doing with it. I'm just going with a single fuel tank on the passenger side, and other than that, pretty straightforward approach here. This is the fitting off of the donor stainless steel line. I kind of dissected that and pulled it out. Had a nice barb on the end to attach to. And then this is just the standard coated aluminum fuel tubing, or fuel line I should say, hard line off my donor, and flared the end of that, and then just rounded the flare so it kind of worked like a barb. And then I really like these little Oetiker clamps. They do a nice job of holding it on there securely. So I think that's going to work out pretty good. Put the fuel filter in the standard location, except I bought some clamps from McMaster, and then put some sheet silicone cut in strips underneath the clamps so that they fit the fuel filter. And then on the other side, you can see in here, you can see all right, but these are just the standard quick connects off of the donor. These are quick connects with a straight barb coming out of them, and then down on the bottom here, these quick connects actually have a 90-degree on them, so they kind of point up towards the filter, which is nice. And you can see this outside hose comes down, and that connects to the bottom tube, the lowest tube down here, which you can see right there. And then the middle tube right here goes up, and that connects to the center of the filter, which is the inlet. So that's the fuel coming from the fuel pump, and this is the fuel returning, the excess flow returning to the fuel tank. And then there's one other connection here. I think you can probably see this in the photos better, but that's just plugged. That was to connect to the other tank, which I'm not using. So pretty straightforward, and just using all donor parts and a few pieces from McMaster. And then I think you can see in some of the pics, but there is I did ground this here by just riveting that to the frame, and that's probably important. Don't want any sparks around fuel. But yeah, that should do it. And then I haven't figured out my vent lines yet, so I'll have to figure that out. But got the caps on here to cap off this side of the tank, and then obviously this will just fit right back inside of there, so should be pretty good. And the aluminum tanks are a nice option, but the cost is pretty prohibitive. The tanks are $1,100, which that's a fair amount of cash, but the thing is you also need all the pumping and filtration, which can be $600 to another $1,000, so it's like a couple grand by the time you get done putting the aluminum tanks in. So I'm going to go this route, and hopefully it works all right.